Hey guys, Wildwood Adventures here at No BS here in Berkeley Springs. We are with Jeremy with Fasterproms, and I am so happy to have you in West Virginia. Like that's like our whole base is based off of West Virginia. Like not just motorsports. We do kayaking, we do mountain biking. We do like tomorrow we're doing an enduro series for mountain biking. So like this is just kind of like what we do. We love showcasing what we have to offer. So what brings you to West Virginia?
Well, actually, this is my first no prep. It's pretty wild. It's definitely a little different than I had envisioned.
For sure.
It's actually a little safer than I thought. So heard a bunch of bad stories and all that. But I'm actually here with my buddy Keith Elledge from Keith's Pit Stop. This is Mustang right here. This thing's all home built. It used to be on a budget. Now it's a little bit. It kind of grew up a little bit.
For sure.
But now he's got a 4.7 and 56. It's a pretty bad.
Oh yeah, so they've actually all seen this car ripped down here, because this is a car that comes down here a lot. Yeah. So this car is no stranger to this track.
Yeah.
But what it is a stranger to is being on the outside lanes. So like that's what's kind of cool is like you mentioned a lot of like track guys, prep guys, they have an issue with with no prep because they like hey man, we got too much money in these cars. And I respect, I totally get that, right?
Yeah.
But this isn't, like you said, this isn't necessarily as like rough and rowdy as like what you would assume like a no prep event to be, would you say?
It's definitely a lot different than what I expected. I mean, it's certainly not the most horsepower car wins.
For sure.
And I mean, it can be, I don't know, it's really like weight. It's actually taking away power. It's a different game, and it seems like it can be shifting. I mean, it's just so different than what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Having to take weight power, you want to have the weight bias vastly different than what you would and for another situation. But yeah, I mean, from what I've learned from Keith and how he set this up, it's been very, very interesting. Like his setup for the track is totally different than what it is for here.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just, this car's been the old setup, the old cheap setup. We went like sevens, with it. And I mean, you're not going to go that fast here. It's a matter of like, trying to find out what that situation wants on that day, that particular prep, that exact time. Because I mean, there could be somebody that had a little bit of water that got down. I mean, there's a lot of things at play, way more than I thought, really. So.
Yeah, because I was talking to some of the drivers. I mean, like they're shifting different.
Yeah.
You don't want to like just spin through first, so they're clicking second a little bit sooner than what they would on a different surface. So it's all about, that's why I like it so much. And drag and drive is like my big thing. I love the experience of like going to different tracks. That's why I think I'm so drawn to no prep, is because you really have to like know your car.
Yeah.
You're not going to win. And so like what you said earlier is actually what we just got done doing a whole week of, like the autocross. And so like that was unique in itself, in the sense of like it's not these high horsepower cars. There you have 600 under horsepower. But I noticed on your Instagram that you actually that one of your buddies had a killer Callaway.
Yeah. So first thing this morning, actually tuned a CTSV I've had as a customer before. We took a car that was too heavy, that makes too much heat, and got it to actually last 40-minute sessions going down the racetrack, or round 40-minute sessions, and that's brutal. I mean, especially on a supercharged car like that. So I mean, he's gone through a whole lot of it. It was expensive, but it required a lot of engineering. And I mean, I have a special place in my heart for road course and autocross. I mean, it's fun. Karting, all that stuff is just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I would actually like to know about a karting track in West Virginia.
Yeah, so I mean, well, the local one we had was actually one of the stops, and it's in PA, but it's called Pit Races. It was actually the second day on the autocross week. So it's like, I mean, it's cool. Like they have a big circuit. They have a parking lot where they do like club loose drifting. They do like autocross, and they also have a really, really badass go-kart track. And it's nice because that's something like you and your friends can go do. Like people have been go-karting since like they were kids. So you just like you're kind of drawn to those corners, like trying to like go as fast, squealing the tires going around. So what you were saying, a lot of engineering went into that Cadillac. What did they do to kind of help keep it cool? Like that's big. That's a big task.
Yeah,
it really is.
Well, so it was kind of interesting. Like most of the time, you don't hear about the differentials and overheating. Well, the threshold's 300 degrees on the factory CTSV. I had no idea. Yeah. But he's like, oh, I put a diffuser on the car. Well, he didn't have a problem with the differential overheating before, but because he put the diffuser on there, he blocked airflow. And when that overheated, that actually puked onto something else, and then that got an exhaust, and then it got hot, and then it melted the bumper. So it actually caused a small fire, but one of those things. But intercooling, having the right amount of boost, directing airflow to the brakes, huge, just absolutely huge.
Yeah, I actually didn't think about that. You're directing airflow to the brakes, because I mean, you got that's one thing I realized with the autocross is their brakes are massive. I mean, they got to be able to stop on a dime.
Yeah.
So
I was road coursing, and one of the things that really changed my mind is you don't need all that power necessarily. I had a near 600 wheel C6 U6, very well set up car, or so I thought.
Right.
I'm coming on the back straight of Sebring going 155 miles an hour, and you're coming to haul it down, and I thought that I had pretty darn good upgraded over everything brakes. No, I didn't, not at all. I had brake fade again over 120, and the car's not stopping.
Yeah,
There's nothing but a tire wall. Yeah. So I think I peed a little bit right there.
Yeah.
But next day I ordered a lot of money in brakes to completely re-engineer it. But yes, absolutely having a brake airflow directed to the back of the hub, not just in the vicinity. It makes a gigantic difference. Changing your fluid, changing stainless steel little length of line.
Yes,
there's a lot of things, man.
Yeah.
Carbon brakes and stuff are giant. There's a lot of stuff. It gets very expensive.
That's awesome. That's really good advice, though. That you guys, I'm about to. That's why I like autocross is because it seems like anybody can get into it. You know what I mean? There's high levels, low levels, but so somebody for me, I don't have the money to be able to compete with these guys. Now I'm building a car to be able to come out. I'm not going to compete, but I do have a car that is almost like a little go-kart. It's an old Kia Sportage, Kia Rio. A little 5-speed, but it's a little go-kart. And so it's something you can get into. So I appreciate that. Appreciate that information. Appreciate you taking some time and sharing that.
Yeah, man. Narrow, light, tires, brakes.
Yeah.
That's good. That's the recipe, though.
What to live by.
Yeah.
Awesome. Jeremy, I really appreciate it, man.